Hello, friends. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those of you who are tuning in on March 17th. I'm going to do the read aloud for the next part of Maze of Bones, and I will not be doing a recap since all of these read alouds will be available. If you want to know what we read last time, just go listen to the last one. All right. As they walked back to the car, Amy said, "We're going to Paris." Dan was thinking about Saladin, and his ears were still ringing from the museum explosion, so he wasn't sure he'd heard her right. "Did you say Paris? As in France?" Amy brought out Sinead Starling's cell phone. The photo of Benjamin Franklin letter was still on the screen. The secret message, a fuzzy yellow scrawl in purple light. "When Franklin was really old," Amy said, "he was the American ambassador in Paris. He was working on a peace treaty to end the Revolutionary War. He had a house in a place called Passy, and all the French thought he was like a rock star." "They treat fat old guys like rock stars in France?" "I told you, Franklin was world famous. He was into philosophy, and he liked parties and all sorts of French stuff. Anyway, the secret message said he was leaving Paris, right? The letter was dated 1785. I'm pretty sure that's the year he came back to America. So he was leaving something behind in Paris." "Something that broke up his clan," Dan said. "That's what asunder means, right? You think he was talking about the branches of the Cahills?" "It's possible." Amy twisted her hair. "Dan, what I said earlier, I don't really want to give up. I'm just scared." Dan nodded. He didn't want to admit it, but the man in black and the explosion had kind of freaked him out too. "It's okay. We have to keep going, right?" "We don't have a choice," Amy agreed. Before they reached the curb, the door of the Toyota flew open. Nellie marched over to them, one earbud still dangling from her ear. She held up her cell phone like she was going to throw it at them. "Guess what?" she said. "I just got a voicemail from Social Services in Boston." Amy gasped. "What did you tell them?" "Nothing yet. I'm waiting for your big, amazing explanation." "Nellie, please," Dan said. "We need your help." "They're looking for you," Nellie shrieked. "Your aunt doesn't even know where you are, does she? Do you know how much trouble I could get in?" "Throw away your phone," Dan suggested. "What?" She sounded like she'd just been told to burn her money, which, of course, Amy had already done that week. "Pretend you didn't get the message," he pleaded. "Just for a few days. Please, Nellie, we need to get to Paris, and we've got to have an adult. If you think for 1 minute I would—" "Did you say Paris?" Dan saw his chance. He put on a sad face and sighed. "Yeah, we were going to buy you a ticket to Paris, plus your pay, and a free hotel room, and gourmet meals and everything, but, oh well." "Nellie, it's just for a couple more days," Amy said. "Please, we weren't lying about the scavenger hunt. It's really important to our family, and we promise we'll be careful. Once we're done in Paris, you can do whatever you think is best. We'll swear that it wasn't your fault. But if we go back to Boston now, they'll take us away to a foster home. We'll fail the scavenger hunt. We might even be in more danger." "And you won't see Paris," Dan added. He wasn't sure which argument was most effective, but Nellie slipped her phone into her pocket. She knelt so that she was looking them in the eyes. "One more trip," she said. "But this could get me in huge trouble, guys. I want your promise. Paris, and then we get you home. Deal?" Dan was thinking they had no home to return to, but he crossed his fingers behind his back and said, "Deal." "Deal," Amy agreed. "I'm going to regret this," Nellie muttered, "but I might as well regret it in Paris." She marched back to the car and got in the driver's side. Dan looked at his sister. About money. I figure we've got enough for 3 one-way tickets. We can get to Paris and have enough left for hotels and food and stuff for maybe a week. But I don't know if we'll have enough to get back. If Nellie finds out..." "Let's worry about that when we get there," Amy said. She ran to the car, already taking her passport out of her back pocket. Alistair O. was just leaving customs when his enemies ambushed him. "Bonjour, uncle." Ian Cabra appeared on his right. "Have a good flight." Alistair turned to the left, but Natalie Cabra cut off his escape. "I wouldn't try to get away, Uncle Alistair," she said sweetly. "It's amazing how many weapons I can carry through an airport." She held up a china doll in a blue satin dress. Natalie was too old to be carrying something like that, but no doubt she could charm the security guards into thinking otherwise. "What is that?" Alistair asked, trying to stay calm. "A gun? A bomb?" Natalie smiled. I hope you don't have to find out. It could be quite messy. Keep walking, Uncle. Ian put as much sarcasm into the word as possible. We don't want to arouse suspicion. They strode through the terminal. Alistair's heart pounded. He could feel the Poor Richard's almanac in his jacket pocket, slapping against his chest with every step. So, Alistair said, when did you get in? Oh, we took our own jet, Ian said. We use a private airstrip where the security is much more relaxed. We just thought we'd come welcome you. How nice, Alistair said, but I don't have anything you want. That's not what we've heard, Natalie said. Hand over the book. Alistair's throat went dry. How could you possibly know? News travels fast, Natalie said. We have informants. Natalie, Ian snapped. I'll do the talking, thank you very much. You hold the doll. She scowled, which made her face not nearly as pretty. I can talk if I want to, Ian. Mother and Father said. Blast what they said. I'm in charge. Natalie looked ready to yell back at him, but she swallowed her rage. Alistair didn't like the tight grip she was keeping on her doll. He imagined the thing must have a trigger somewhere, and he didn't want to find out what it did. Surely you don't want another war between our branches, Alistair said, trying to sound diplomatic. One phone call and I can mobilize help from Tokyo to Rio de Janeiro. As can we, Ian said. And I've read my family history, Alistair. The last time our branches fought, it didn't go very well for your lot, did it? Alistair kept walking, thinking hard. A gendarme was standing by a security checkpoint up ahead, about 20 meters. If Alistair could create a distraction... The 1908 explosion in Siberia, he said to Ian. Yes, that was impressive. But we have more at stake this time. Exactly, Ian agreed. So hand over the book, old man, before we have to hurt you. Natalie laughed. If you could hear yourself, Ian, honestly. Her brother frowned. Excuse me? 5 meters to the gendarme, Alistair thought. Stay calm. Oh, nothing, Natalie told her brother airily. Just that you're a terrible bore. Without me, you couldn't even frighten this pathetic old man. Ian's expression hardened. I most certainly could, you useless little... Natalie stepped in front of Alistair, intent on confronting her brother, and Alistair saw his chance. He stepped backwards, then sideways, and before the Cabras could regroup, Alistair was standing next to the gendarme, talking as loud as he could in French. Merci, niece and nephew, he shouted at the Cabras, but your parents will be worried. Run along now and tell them I'll be out in a few moments. I have some questions for this officer. I may have forgotten to declare my fresh fruit in customs. Fresh fruits, the officer said. Sir, that's very important. Come with me, please. Alistair shrugged apologetically to the Cabras. You must excuse me. Ian's eyes were so angry they looked like they might catch fire, but he managed a stiff smile. Of course, Uncle. Don't worry, we will definitely catch you later. Come, Natalie. He said her name through clenched teeth. We have to talk. Ow! She yelped as he gripped her arm, but he herded her down the hallway and out of sight. Alistair sighed with relief. He followed the gendarme gracefully back to customs, where after 20 minutes of questions and searching bags, Alistair realized, quelle surprise, he did not have any fresh fruit in his luggage after all. He pretended to be a confused old man, and the irritated customs official let him go. Back in the terminal, Alistair allowed himself a smile. Ian and Natalie Cabra may have been deadly opponents, but they were still children. Alistair would never let himself be outfoxed by youngsters like them, not when his own future and the future of his branch were at stake. He patted the Poor Richard's almanac, still safe in his jacket pocket. Alistair doubted any other team knew more about the 39 clues than he did. After all, he'd been spying on Grace for years, learning her purpose. There was still a lot he didn't understand, secrets he hoped Grace had given to her grandchildren. But soon he would find out. He was off to an excellent start. He now understood the true meaning of the first clue. Richard S. is resolution. He had to chuckle about that. Even Amy and Dan had failed to see what it really meant. He made his way through the terminal, keeping his eyes open for the Cabras, but they seemed to have vanished. He got outside and was dragging his bags toward the taxi stand when a purple van pulled up to the curb. The side door rolled open. A cheerful male voice said, Hey there! The last thing Alistair O saw was a large fist hurtling towards his face.